Yes, we are back. I am back. Your DFS Jerusalem is back in the DFS sweatshop. We will be discussing tomorrow's six-game slate. It was felt like a year-long wait until we could get back to some NBA DFS. Man, I have been chomping at the bit, and you have no idea how hard it has been for me to not look at the DraftKings pricing or the FanDuel pricing because I want to give you my pure, uncut, unadulterated, unfiltered first look at the DraftKings pricing as we go through those. In tonight's show, we're going to be talking about some trade situations that have been going on around the league. We are also going to be discussing the point totals for the six-game slate we have today, as well as, of course, the player pricing, where we can get a good idea of who we can X off of our list or who we can automatically know that we are going to set them to the side and put those players in our large player pool, and then we will shrink that to our core four in the VIP on Facebook in the midday mix tomorrow. So first things first, man. Shout out to everybody that was holding me down, like staying in the mix, like just staying with the DFS sweatshop as we were going through this long All-Star break. Man, it was long as fuck. It felt like it would never end, bro. Now we did dabble in some NHL. We got some guys in the sweatshop that were very knowledgeable about NHL. I ended up cashing every night that I played NHL, so that was pretty dope. Also, we had some Coach Stewart, man. Shout out to Coach Stewart. This dude puts out the most awesome PGA articles. Like he drops them in the Facebook VIP, and I try to upload them to the website so everybody can see them. But these are fucking dope, bro, and they have been so helpful. Thank you. Shout out to Coach Stewart again. And of course, I've been getting ready for MLB. We are preparing for the Major League Baseball season. We know we're going to be watching that the World Baseball Classic. It's coming up pretty soon. Spring training is about to kick off on Friday. So, the DFS world right now is ablaze with information and games and thoughts, and we're ready to go in. But what we're going to do first and foremost, we're going to finish off this NBA season with a bang. We're going to do that, roll right into MLB. So, without further ado, how about some of the shit that's been going on around the league, man? We got Boogie leaving Sacramento. Well, not leaving, but being traded from Sacramento, going to New Orleans. He and Anthony Davis are going to be paired together. It's going to be very interesting to see how they work the minute top between the two of those guys. If we know they're going to be starting games together, we know they're going to be finishing games together. But if they can work their minutes out in some way, I talked about this on Twitter today, where you see one of them on the court for most of the game. One of them is always out there. How good is that going to be if we see some Anthony Davis going up against second teams or some Boogie Cousins going up against some NBA second teams? Those guys are going to be tearing it up. I really think so. I don't think. Now, I talked to the homie Kyle Barney, man, over from Draft Shot, and he brought up a very interesting point. Said that the prices on these guys are probably going to go down because we're going to see some production dips because they play virtually the same position. Even though they're going to be on the court at the same time, one's going to be at the power forward, one's going to be at the center. They basically have the same roles when it comes to their respective offenses and bringing that together. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out with those two guys. I think we see a big bump in the assist rate for guys like Drew Holiday. I think we're going to see an uptick in minutes for guys like Dante Cunningham because they did trade a lot away. New Orleans traded a lot away in order to get Boogie Cousins with them. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting down the stretch to see how that rolls. We know that we're going to be seeing an uptick in minutes for Dario Saric. Maybe he will make his first dip into being an NBA starter as Ersan Ilyasova was traded to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for, I believe it was maybe it was Mike Muscala, one of those guys, just a guy that they're probably not going to really use in Philadelphia anyway. But that is big for Dario Saric. The fact that he's actually going to be in the starting role, coming off of the bench, to do is really good. But the thing we've got to do to temper our expectations is realize that Sarge has been going up against second teams. So coming off of the All-Star break, we saw some young players really getting it in. We know that we're going to see an increased level of confidence for guys like Jamal Murray. We're going to see Eric Gordon come out shooting hot after winning that three-point championship. Then we also know that the Lakers traded The Lakers traded Lou Williams, sweet Lou Williams. He's now going to be fumbling and bumbling and stumbling and knocking down shots with James Harden in Houston. So that's a big deal. So a lot of stuff has been going on, man. The NBA has not stopped moving. The All-Star break did not stop the NBA from moving along. We also know Magic Johnson has been named the president of basketball operations in LA. So we may see some shifts and changes there. There's still one more day left for the trade deadline. We have got to really keep our eyes peeled to see what's going to be happening there. We heard a lot of talk about maybe Melo being traded. We see now that he's going to be staying with the New York Knicks. That's very, very encouraging to Carmelo Anthony owners and play season long and guys that look to roster Carmelo where he's at now in New York. We also saw some trade talks about Derrick Rose being traded for being traded to Minnesota for Rick Rubio. So I mean, and that's something as a New York Knicks fan, I would love to see something like that happen because I don't see Derrick Rose being a member of the New York Knicks next year anyway. So getting Rick Rubio, a pass-first young point guard to play with Kristaps Porzingis, maybe some Melo, I think that'd be good too. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on around the league, and make sure that you keep your eyes peeled, man, and you're following these social media accounts, man, because that is very, very helpful. I think I follow every beat writer for every NBA team. That's the way I'm able to stay abreast to the NBA news. We know we've got Fantasy Labs that they tweet out news and notes fairly frequently. We can follow those guys. And, man, it's just been a really great NBA season so far. It has been profitable for me. Hope it has been profitable for you as it has been for a lot of cats in the sweatshop. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing for tomorrow's 6-game slate. We're going to go ahead and get that started here. Where's my apparatus here? Here we are. And in case you notice, this is an Xbox One. I use it. It's really good at, I can get internet access on there and anything that I might need. Got the NBA app downloaded to it as well. Let's go ahead and jump into that player pricing. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that following DraftKings. We're gonna be looking at DraftKings because now the Core 4 strategy that we teach in the DFS sweatshop, it does work for FanDuel or DraftKings, either way. But I'm primarily a DraftKings player, and that's why I do my loose analysis based on the DraftKings scoring. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up, and first thing we're gonna do, like we do every slate, we're gonna outline a slate, do a little slate breakdown. Slate recognition is key. You've got to know where you're putting your guys, where you're going to be playing in the tournaments, how many games there are, what stack value that you're going to have if you were to play the smaller slates. Let's check this out. Now, tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m., we've got a 6-game slate. That is the overall slate. We've got 6 games there. We've got a 3-game turbo that starts at 7:30. We've got a 2-game turbo at 8, and to finish the night off, we've got a 10:30 late slate of 2 games. So you know what I'm going to say right now. If you've been watching the show, you know one strategy that I ask you all to use, that I implore you to use, is to hop in the 3-game turbo. Make a lineup that you really like. Make a couple lineups that you really like, and throw them bitches in the main. I'm telling you, it works wonders. So let's go to open this up so we can get an overall look on everybody, so we can include people in our player pools. But we want to see what the pricing looks like. This is my first time taking a look at it. It was very hard to do that. And we know automatically that James Harden is going to be the highest salaried player on tomorrow's 6-game slate, coming in at $12.5K. That is a very high price to pay tomorrow on a 6-game slate. We've got James Harden going to New Orleans to take on the Houston Rockets. This is the 5th-ranked DVP against that shooting guard position. However, both teams have had some changes made to them. New Orleans more so with the addition of Boogie Cousins. I can tell you right now, James Harden is in play, but he is not a play that I'm going to have in a lot of my rosters. He's just not. The price is too high, $12.5K. That means you want damn near 80 points from this guy in order to return that 6x value that we look for. I don't think I'm going to be risking too much on that, especially on a slate like this where there's going to be so many plays that are going to be decent. I'm not really feeling that too much. DeMarcus Cousins at 11K. Now this is the question for DeMarcus Cousins here. Now you're looking at 66 points. I don't even see him scoring 60 against the Houston Rockets, sharing that much front court time with a guy like Anthony Davis. So I won't be going there for DeMarcus Cousins. Nikola Jokic at 10.5K looks appealing. We know that he's a guy that can put up 60 points like it ain't nothing. We already understand that. I think his last 4 games, he's averaging around 53. That's pretty safe there. I do like Nikola Jokic tomorrow against the Sacramento Kings without Boogie Cousins. He's going to be seeing some Costa Kufas, maybe some Willie Cauley-Stein in there. I do like Nikola Jokic tomorrow. LeBron James, of course, he's in play. This is a nationally televised game against my New York Knicks in Cleveland. The 27th ranked DVP against the small forward position. We know that Carmelo does not play any defense on LeBron. That's not even going to be a factor. I like LeBron James tomorrow. Anthony Davis, the same story with Boogie Cousins. I can't play him at 10.2K. 50 points is what we're going to need for him to make it feel like we even, didn't make a big mistake by rostering him. It's going to be hard to roster these guys. The price is going to have to come down some. And I think it will. I think it will because the production between the two of these guys is not going to be what it has been when they were the leader of their respective teams before the trade. We've got Steph Curry at 9.5. Now, Chris Paul is probably going to play tomorrow. And that kind of takes Steph Curry off of the table for me. Now, Chris Paul hasn't been as good against the point guard position as he has been in recent years. But just the fact of him being on the floor kind of makes me not want to fuck with Steph too tough tomorrow. I think I would like a different guy in this offense because I think if Chris Paul is there, the game stays closer. But I do want to get exposure to this game. But I don't think Steph Curry is where I want to do that. Kevin Durant at 9.4. Of course, he's in play for me tomorrow. If we see Chris Paul, that means the games will stay closer, as I previously stated. So there's no reason that we can't look to Kevin Durant at 9.4K. Chris Paul coming back also puts Blake Griffin in play at 9.1. The price is a little up on him, but I think he can definitely return value with Chris Paul on the court. Kyrie Irving at 8.7 against my New York Knicks. Yes, I see a big. Well, it's not a big three because Kevin Love is not playing. But I definitely can see a Cleveland stat going on tomorrow. We're gonna check into point totals to see how valid that would be when we get into the point totals. But I do like Kyrie Irving tomorrow against Derrick Rose. Dame Lillard 8.4. We know it's very hard to roster point guards against the Orlando Magic. They just don't give it up to point guards very often. And this game is in Orlando. If it was at the Motor Center, I would feel a little better. I don't think I'll be rolling with Dame Lillard tomorrow. Chris Paul is questionable. As I said, he may play tomorrow. If he does play, he's automatically in play for me at 8K, even coming off of that injury. It wasn't a knee or an ankle or any, one of the lower extremities. It was a thumb, I believe. And if that's cool with me, I like Chris Paul if he does play tomorrow at 8K. Carmelo Anthony at 7.8 is not a bad play, but it's not a play that I will be particularly interested in tomorrow. Kemba Walker at 7.7 at the Beehive, yes. Now, I think he had a pretty good game against these guys last time, but I think there's other spots at the point guard position tomorrow. I'm going to be going on a 6-game slate. I'm not in love with Kemba Walker, while I do think he's a decent play. Kevin Love is out. We know that, of course. Andre Drummond is the play that I really like tomorrow at 7.6. You know we can attack the Charlotte Hornets rebounding the basketball, especially without Cody Zeller in there. Probably Frank Kaminsky is going to be getting the start. He is ripe for the pick, and I like Andre Drummond tomorrow. Will Barton, the price is up on him at 7.6K. To me, that's just too high price. With guys coming back, we know we may see Danilo Gallinari tomorrow. We might see, of course, we're going to see Wilson Chandler tomorrow. That is going to take Will Barton out of play for me. CJ McCollum is a play that I really like at 7.5K going up against the Orlando Magic. He's going to be seeing some Evan Fournier defense, which is really nothing. I like him tomorrow. Drew Holiday, he's a very safe bet at 7.5. Even though he's going to be going up against Patrick Beverley defense, there's just nobody else that's going to carry that load for him or for the New Orleans Pelicans. There's nobody else going to carry the offensive load. The price is down on him just a bit at 7.5. This dude was above 8K 2 weeks ago. So I like that discount. I like that price on him. Darren Collison at 7.4 is a play that I am interested in just because there's nobody else left. The same situation for Drew Holiday. There's really nobody that can play that point guard spot. We know that they don't have Matt Barnes anymore in Sacramento. Who's going to play that position? Now, if we know for a fact that we're going to see Ty Lawson. I think the discount on him is something that we should consider. I believe he should be somewhere around 4K, somewhere around there. But I do like Darren Collison tomorrow. Draymond Green at 7.3. This dude never plays well against the LA Clippers, so I'm not be looking his way tomorrow. Nikolai Vucevic. I know this says that this is the 7th ranked defense against the center position, but remember, we did see a trade. Miles Plumlee went to Denver. Yusuf Nurkic is now going to be starting at that center position for the Orlando Magic. Excuse me, for the Portland Trailblazers. Seeing that is going to take a lot of people off of Nikolai Vucevic, but it really shouldn't. You can fire up Vucevic tomorrow. 7.1K is a very fair price. I like him a lot tomorrow. Nick Batum at 7K. Not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. Wilson Chandler, questionable, but it say he's going to play. 6.8. He is cheaper than Will Barton, so I definitely can take him up on that. Klay Thompson is probably one of my favorite plays from the LA Clipper and Golden State game. I like him to have a nice one. 6.7 is not an unreasonable price for him. Kristaps is a play that I kind of like tomorrow too. 6.6K for him. I think without Kevin Love, he can definitely make his presence felt shooting the long jump shot as well as putting the ball on the floor, getting past guys like Tristan Thompson and Channing Frye. I like Kristaps tomorrow. I think he's going to be a solid play. Jameer Nelson, we saw a report that said Jameer Nelson is going to be the starting point guard throughout. Like, he's just a starting point guard. And against the Sacramento Kings, I know they say it's the 15th ranked DVP against the point guard position, but we've got to admit, Darren Collison, he does hit the chicks, but he's been hitting shots lately, and he's also a pretty decent defender. At 6.5K, that is a lot to ask for Jameer Nelson. We're asking for damn near 40 points from him tomorrow to make value. I'm not going to be on him. DeAndre Jordan at 6.4, of course he's in play. Of course he's in play. We're going to be seeing Chris Paul back. Of course he's in play. Frank Kaminsky at 6.3 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Derrick Rose is in play going up against Kyrie defense at 6.1. I kind of like him. I am not on Evan Fournier. Tristan Thompson is in play against my New York Knicks at 5.8. The price is up on him a little bit, but he's still definitely in play. Matt Barnes is not playing tomorrow. Hernan Gomez is not a play that I'm very interested in tomorrow at all. Trevor Ariza, I like him at 5.6. Gallinari, if he plays at 5.5, I think that is an excellent price on him. If he plays tomorrow and he's going to see a full allotment of minutes, I think we can definitely look to Danilo Gallinari over paying that 7.8K for a guy like Will Barton. Channing Frye at 5.5. Of course, he's going to be in play tomorrow for us. Austin Rivers, not so much at 5.4. Reggie Jackson, now he's very cheap, 5.4. And I know this is the 7th ranked DVP against the point guard position, but I think we can look to Reggie Jackson tomorrow. Sparingly. Alfred Camino is going to be out at 5.4. Terrence Jones, he was also traded. I believe he was a part of the. Was he traded? He was up for trade. He didn't get traded. He was up for trade. He was on the block. He didn't get traded. 5.4K for him. I'm not interested in that. Clint Capella at 5.4 going up against Boogie Cousins and or in some spots he's going to be seeing some Anthony Davis defense. Not a big. I'm not particularly big on that play, but I do like Patrick Beverley at 5.3. I think he's going to be a stone cold lock to make value tomorrow. Marcus Morris is a play that I really like at 5.2. I think the last time out, Marcus Morris dropped a 40 burger against the Charlotte Hornets there. Then I was in Charlotte. They're at Detroit now. I like him. Elfrid Payton at 5.2 is definitely a play that I'm interested in tomorrow. I like Gary Harris at 5.2. Eric Gordon at 5.2. I think I want to see what they do with Lou Williams before I jump into rostering Eric Gordon, because this is a guy that's already not going to be starting. And if we don't see any more shakeups tomorrow when it comes to the NBA trade deadline, and we know that Patrick Beverley is going to stay put and remain the starter in Houston, Eric Gordon and Lou Williams are going to be coming off of the bench together in some spots. I'm not going to be fucking with Eric Gordon tomorrow. Mason Plumlee at 5.1. He didn't do much, and the price went up $1,100. He was just 4K. I'm not interested in that. Ryan Anderson at 5.1 is not a play for me. Juancho Hernan Gomez at 5K. With all those guys coming back off of injury, he's not a play for me at all. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a play that I really like tomorrow. The price is down, 4.9K. He doesn't have to do much in order to return that 6x value and get 30 points for us, so I do like him tomorrow. MKG is not a play that I'm particularly interested in at 4.9. Excuse me. Aaron Gordon is a no for me. Tobias Harris, yes, at 4.8. I like that price on him. That's very cheap. I like Tobias Harris tomorrow. Cody Zeller is going to be out. Marvin Williams is a no for me. John Lure, 4.6. Yes, he's in play. Evan Turner is out. We know he's out with that finger. Kenneth Faried is questionable. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. Kyle Korver at 4.6 is in play for me. He can be part of a Cleveland stack if we like. JJ Redick at 4.5 is in play for me. I like him tomorrow. Maurice Harkless, he's probably going to be getting the start. If that is true, I like him at 4.5. Ben McLemore is a no for me. Jamal Crawford. You know what? Chris Paul coming back really strengthens the overall offensive outlook for the LA Clippers. And I do think that if we want to look to a guy that can come off of the bench and see solid minutes playing in that shooting guard position in a game that's going to be high scoring and stay fairly close throughout, I think we can look to Jamal Crawford tomorrow. Yusuf Nurkic is definitely a play to look at 4.3. I am not particularly afraid of Yusuf Nurkic. Of Nikolai Vucevic defensively, and just the fact that the price is so cheap on him, 4.3K starting center. We can definitely look to him tomorrow. Emmanuel Mudiay has been taken out of the starting rotation in Denver, therefore he is taken out of consideration for me. Raymond Felton is a no with Chris Paul coming back. That's a no for me. Tyreke Evans, we know he's going to be on a minutes limit at 4.2, but the Sacramento Kings at home, Tyreke Evans on a minutes limit. I think we can definitely look to him at 4.2. That is a very cheap price for a guy that's that talented and can score in a myriad of ways. Ty Lawson, he's probably going to be playing tomorrow, 4.1K. I love that. Now, if I had to take a choice, make a choice between Ty Lawson and if I had to make a choice between Ty Lawson at 4.1K and Collison at the 7.5, 7.4, I would go with Ty Lawson. I would take that, above 3K salary discount, and I would roll with Ty Lawson, man. If he's back and he's good to go, I really think we can look to him. Here, Brandon Jennings, he is questionable to play tomorrow. 4K for him. I'm good on that. Courtney Lee will play tomorrow at 4K. That's a play that we can kind of look to because we know how bad the Cleveland Cavaliers are against the shooting guard position. We can definitely look at him. Kyle Quinn is a no for me. Ish Smith is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. I do like Jamal Murray at 3.9 tomorrow. This game could get away from Sacramento very early, and we could see a fair amount of guys like Jamal Murray tomorrow in mop-up duty. So I do like him tomorrow at 3.9K. Tolliver, 3.9. He's in play for me tomorrow. Solomon Hill is in play at 3.9. Andre Iguodala, of course, he's in play at 3.8. Shasha could play tomorrow. If he does, I do not like him. Terrence Ross is a no for me. Ed Davis is in play at 3.8. Sean Livingston is a no. Jeff Green, no. Garrett Temple is not a play. He is out. Sam Decker at 3.7. That's a play that I'm interested in. I do like him tomorrow. JaVale McGee is a no for me. Marco Bellinelli is a no. Alan Crabb, yes, at 3.6. Aaron Aflalo is questionable. No. Buddy Hield is probably going to be the chalk tomorrow. Everybody's going to be on Buddy Hield. I foresee everybody liking the cheaper pieces of the Sacramento Kings. First, starting off at Willie Cauley-Stein and at 3.6K, going up against Nikolai Jokic. I think that he's going to be a nice play tomorrow. A lot of people are going to be on him. It's going to be very much going to be chalk. Him and Buddy Hield as well. Aaron Baines is a no for me. Costa Cooper is going to be another guy we're going to see in a lot of lineups just because these guys are so cheap and they're going to be seeing a lot of that usage when it comes to the low post because we know Boogie is gone. So a lot of people are going to be on these guys. Amon Shumpert is a no for me. J.R. Smith is out. We know that. Derek Williams at 3.5K. Now, if you want to take a flyer on a guy like this, if this game is going to be a blowout, Derek Williams is somebody who you can definitely look to. At 3.5K, he can mop it up. Once they're ready to sit LeBron, this game does blow out. We may see a lot of Derek Williams. That's somebody to really, keep an eye on. Dante Cunningham, Joakim Noah is going to be out tomorrow. That's why we were looking to, guys like Hernan Gomez or Kyle O'Quinn starting for the New York Knicks tomorrow. Alexis Agenta, no.
Montrezl Harrell at 3.5 is a no for me. Bismack at 3.4. I think we can look to Bismack Biyombo tomorrow. He's going to be seeing, the Ed Davises or maybe the the Yusuf Nurkic, Ed Davis, maybe a little bit of Noah Vonleh tomorrow. We know that the Orlando Magic have traded to Toronto. Yep, they did. They did trade Serge Ibaka to Toronto for Terrence Ross. So that's going to lead to an increase in minutes for the bigs on the Orlando side. We can definitely look at that. DeAndre Nichols is a no. Let's find one of those 3K guys. Who is the 3K play the day? Somebody that we can look to tomorrow. Brandon Bass at 3K. You can look to him. Maybe some. I mean, it's a 6-game slate, so it's not going to be a ton that we can really look at and love. DJ Augustine maybe at 3K could be a decent play there for us tomorrow, especially since we know that there's been an injury in the Orlando backcourt to where we're probably going to see Elfrid Payton start and DJ be the backup point guard. So we can look to DJ Augustine tomorrow at 3K. I kind of like him. TJ Wilcox is going to be out for an extended period of time. We talked about Vonleh at 3K. He's going to be seeing some minutes there. So Langston Galloway at 3K just been traded to Sacramento from New Orleans. So that's somebody else we can look at. And there's not a lot, bro. There's not a lot. So let's go ahead and jump into the point totals for tomorrow's 6-game slate. And we already got an idea. See, at this point, the player pool is already ringing in my head. Like, I got a solid pool of players in my head, guys that I like. There's a few guys that I know I'm not going to be playing under any circumstance. There's guys that I know I may have in one lineup just in case my analysis was a bit off. But for the most part, I do have a solid player pool already in my head. I'll be putting pen to paper with that as soon as we finish tonight's program. So let's go ahead. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and jump into the point totals for tomorrow's 6-game slate. We're going to start first game 7 p.m. It's going to be the Portland Trailblazers going to Orlando to take on the Magic. This is a 213-point total with the Orlando Magic being the beneficiary. They are getting 2.5 points. So they are a home dog. You know how I feel about home dogs. I give them an extra bump, extra motive, extra increase to want to play and defend that home court and play well in front of their fans. Also, the Portland Trailblazers, they're giving up 2.5 points, 213-point total. We know the Portland Trailblazers' strength from now on for the rest of the season is going to have to be the backcourt play. And the question is, do you want to take a shot at Dame Lillard? Well, I'm going to tell you, if I had to go anywhere in his backcourt, I would definitely go C.J. McCollum. I think he is more he's a more solid scorer right now. He's scoring the ball way better and with much more efficiency than Dame Lillard is. Actually, and he plays a lot with against the second teams. So we know with the injuries that the Portland Trailblazers have been suffering lately, we're gonna have to see an increased load for these guys, specifically for CJ McCollum, and that's why I like him so much in tomorrow's games. He's somebody who I really like. I really like CJ McCollum tomorrow. I think Maurice Harkless definitely deserves consideration. We know with the injury we saw to Al-Farouq Aminu, he's going to be out in tomorrow's game, so we can definitely look to Maurice Harkless. I think a very cheap punt play at the center position is going to be Yusuf Nurkic tomorrow. I'm not going to have much of him, but I think there's validity to having that guy. If you didn't want to go all the way down to people like Cauley Stein or Costa Koufos, if you didn't want to go all the way down to that, I think you could go to Yusuf Nurkic and see a decent return on that investment there. On the Orlando side, I like Elfrid Payton. We know that this is the 30th ranked defense against the point guard position. Talking about the Portland Trailblazers, they give it up to point guards. I have no problem with you punting the play for DJ Augustine, backing up Elfrid Payton or Elfrid Payton being in that starting role. And you know how I feel about Nikolai Vucevic. We talked about that earlier. I think he's a very solid play there. The next game we're going to be talking about is the Charlotte Hornets going to the Detroit Pistons. Now, this is one of the lower point totals on the slate. Actually, the lowest point total on the slate. It is a 207-point total, with the Detroit Pistons giving up 4.5. So they are a home favorite. Now, it's hard for me to roster Kemba too tough away from the Beehive, man. And I think tomorrow you're going to see that in my lineups. I may have him in one. I normally run between 5 and 10 lineups. 6 game slate like this, I'm probably going to be running the full 10. So I do like a lot of the Detroit guys tomorrow. This is one of the lower point total games, so I'm not going to have like super uber duper, crazy exposure to these guys, but in some spots, there's some guys that I really like. And we're going to start with KCP. KCP, I think, can really go off tomorrow against the Charlotte Hornets. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. I also think we can look to Andre Drummond. We know we can attack the Charlotte Hornets rebounding the basketball, so that is definitely a play that I'm going to be looking for. Also, Tobias Harris is in play for me, as well as Marcus Morris, man. I talked about earlier how much he had against this team last time. Had a really great game out against him last time. I think we can look to him. On the Charlotte Hornets side, I say I don't like this guy, but somebody got to do the scoring. Somebody's got to do it. And if the safest bet for whoever's going to be doing the scoring and the heavy lifting on the Charlotte Hornets side is going to be Nick Batum. He's somebody who you can definitely look to if you had to have somebody in this game. I kind of like him, but just not as much as a couple other shooting guards that are on the slate. So I'm not going to have too much exposure to him or any of the Charlotte Hornets for that matter. Next game I'm going to talk about is the New York Knicks. My New York Knicks going to Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers. This is a 223-point total. That's a very nice point total. With the Cleveland Cavaliers giving up 10. Cavs are giving up 10 without Kevin Love. So, and this depends on if you think the Knicks are going to lay down. What do you think? If you think the Knicks are going to just lay down and go ahead and get blown out by Cleveland, do you think they're going to make it a game? And that's game flow. So much of NBA is predicated, or NBA DFS is predicated, successful DFS that is predicated on you being able to predict game flow. If you think for one moment that the Knicks are going to stay in this game, then that would caution you to edge LeBron up on your list, on your board of players that you may want to, audition for your core 4 plays. If you think that this game is going to blow out completely, you think the 10-point spread is real, maybe not even enough, then you want to look at guys from the second team of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Guys are going to see extended minutes once they sit LeBron down. Guys maybe like Kyrie Irving, who does play deeply into blowouts, who I really like against Derrick Rose. I also like Derrick Rose in this matchup. I tend to think this game is going to stay a touch closer than people think. It's a nationally televised game. Guys are going to want to get up to play. I have no problem with starting Carmelo Anthony tomorrow. I love LeBron James. I think he's going to be a really solid play. And maybe a stack on the Cleveland side. And maybe we go some Korver, LeBron, Kyrie, and Tristan Thompson, or Channing Frye. So I think I could go 4 deep on the Cleveland side and be pleased with the outcome. I think. As far as New York Knicks, we talked about Derrick Rose is a player that I kind of like. Kristaps Porzingis I like the most out of anybody on the New York Knicks roster tomorrow. But Melo is certainly in play there. Next game we're going to talk about. Excuse me, I've been battling a flu, just really getting over it. Still got that little lag and cough, man. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Houston Rockets going to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Pelicans with Boogie and AD, man. That's going to be something to watch. We're going to have to really pay attention to this. This is the second highest point total on the slate. It's a 226.5 point total with the New Orleans Pelicans receiving 3.5 points. So the Houston Rockets are going to New Orleans and they're giving them 3.5 points. That makes the Pelicans a home dog. I like home dogs. I think there's going to be so much energy and excitement involved in this game, especially when it comes to the New Orleans Pelicans and being on their home floor. I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. I think it's going to be a nice game. Now, do I think that Boogie or AD are going to go out and really exceed value? No. But you got to take this into consideration. This is not a meaty slate, man. There's not a ton of guys on the slate that, can go off for 75, 80 points. Like you've got 2 guys other than the 2 guys in this game that have those super high ceilings, and that's going to be uh, LeBron, and James Harden, right? So I mean, if you want to take a shot on one of these cats, man, just to see if you can pick the right one that actually does like go the fuck off, I have no problem with that. Now I won't have those guys in any of my lineups because I want to wait to see how it looks, how the minutes play out, and I think I can sit out this one game and then return to that and see how it looks when I see what the minutes are going to be like, how they're going to be issued out between the two of these guys. I think the value in this game is going to be away from these guys. People like, Dante Cunningham, people like Solomon Hill, somebody like Drew Holiday. Everybody's going to, want to see what's going on with Boogie and AD that I think some of these guys are going to get overlooked. On the Houston Rockets side, I will never tell you to not play James Harden. This dude can go out and drop 100 points at a moment's notice. So I would never tell you not to play James Harden. I just will not have as much exposure to him as the field does. I won't have as much exposure to him as the field does. If I run 10 lineups, he may be in 2. He may be in 1. That's the most I'm going to do with James Harden tomorrow. I like some other guys from the same offense. I like Trevor Ariza tomorrow. I love Patrick Beverly tomorrow. I think we can look to Clint Capella in some spots. Also, you may want to check out uh, Eric Gordon because we still don't know if everything went down with the trade and everything is official and we can actually see Lou Williams tomorrow. If that's the case, then you can definitely look at Eric Gordon there. Next game we're going to be talking about is the LA Clippers going to Golden State. They can be taking on.
Now Durant is still going to see that 30 minutes per game, no matter if it's a blowout or not. So I do like Durant in some spots tomorrow. I think we can also look to guys like Iguodala off of the bench. The price is still cheap on him at 3.8K. As far as the Clippers are concerned, Chris Paul, if he plays, he's going to get a full lot of minutes. I like him. That automatically makes me want to choose DeAndre Jordan over Blake Griffin, even though I think Blake Griffin does have some use tomorrow. We can even look at guys like we can even look at JJ Redick tomorrow if Chris Paul's back. He improves this team so much that a lot of guys that would normally not even be in play for me against the Golden State Warriors are going to be in play if we know we're going to see a full allotment of minutes from Chris Paul. Also, we may want to look back to the Golden State side. And Curry's just not a player that I particularly like. I just don't like him too much tomorrow. I think, at 9.5K, we're going to have to see damn near 60 points to really accrue that value, that 6X value that we want. I don't think that's going to be there for him tomorrow. So he's not a player that I'm going to be interested in at all. Probably not. Next game and the last game on the slate, the late night hammer game. Both of these games start at 10:30. The Golden State Warriors at home against the Clippers, as well as this last game, the Denver Nuggets going to Sacramento to take on the Kings. This is a 220-point total. The spread is not as large as you would think it would be, with the Sacramento Kings losing probably the best big man in the league, easily the best player that they had on their team. It's still a 7-point spread, and of course, it's in favor of the Denver Nuggets. This is another home dog situation, and maybe it's one of those situations where Boogie really was holding this team back. A lot of times a guy can be that talented, a guy can be that good, so great, that you do everything you can to get him involved in the game, and sometimes you do that forsaking some of the other guys. Now we're going to see if some of these guys really do have talent. We're gonna see if Cauley Stein really does have talent. We're gonna see if Costa Koufos can actually ball. We're gonna be seeing if Anthony Tolliver can play. We're gonna be so there's a lot to be looked at. And plus, the beauty of this is on DraftKings these guys are all hovering around 3.5, 3.6K, which is very cheap. And you all that want to pay up for your Harden, you actually want to get a piece of Boogie or AD. You want to pay up for LeBron. You want to roll kind of a stars and scrubs type lineup. These are going to be the guys that you're going to see in most people's lineups. And I'm talking about Buddy Hield. I'm talking about Costa Koufos, Tolliver, as well as Willie Cauley Stein. And I don't have any problem with that.
There's not a better team that you can experiment that type of lineup on than the Denver Nuggets. Man, these guys give it up, and the point total is 220. That's a really nice point total for two teams like this. I think I like Jokic a lot more than the value that you're gonna get paying down all the way for the Costa Kufis or the Willie Cauley Stein. I like him tomorrow in this matchup. I think we can also look to cats like Daniel Gallinari to be coming back off of an injury. I do not like Jameer Nelson in that new starting role. I'm not a fan of that. 6.5K just too much to pay for a guy that is limited in what he can do. If he doesn't score a ton, he's not gonna really score a lot as far as our DraftKings scoring is concerned. So I'm not really particularly I'm not intrigued with him very much. I think this is going to be a game that a lot of people are going to have stuff invested in, and they're going to pay down a lot in this game and go usually on the cheaper side. And not saying that's going to be a mistake, but I'm not going to do that in all of my lineups. Like I'm not going to have like full exposure to the Sacramento Bigs in some way, shape, or form. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a couple lineups with a couple of those guys, and I'm going to really stick to what I know and what's been really working for me so so far this DFS season. So let's go over it real quick, man. Players that I do like from each game. We're going to start with the Sacramento Denver game. No problem with Costa Cubas. No problem with Cauley Stein. He will be the one that I like the most out of the two. On the Denver side, Jokic. Also, we can look to Gallinari. I like him in that game. Golden State side, I like Kevin Durant. I like. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. Golden State, I like Kevin Durant, and I really do like Klay Thompson. Clipper side, if we do see Chris Paul, I like him tomorrow as well as DeAndre Jordan. New Orleans Pelicans, I would go with some Dante Cunningham, maybe some Solomon Hill and Drew Holiday on the Houston side. I don't have a huge problem with Harden, but I like Ariza. I like Pat Beverly. Those are my favorite two players from there. Cleveland side, love LeBron, love Kyrie. I think you can go with Tristan Thompson as well as Channing Frye and or um, Kyle Korver. So I'm calling for a Cleveland stack tomorrow. New York side, their big three that they got in New York. I think you can definitely play those guys as well as Courtney Lee. I like Courtney Lee too because Cleveland struggles against shooting guards. I like Courtney Lee tomorrow. I like Kristaps Porzingis, Derrick Rose attacking the Kyrie Irving defense. You can look for him there. Detroit, I like a lot about the Detroit guys. I'm talking Tobias Harris. I'm talking KCP, Andre Drummond, even Marcus Morris. I like him. The Charlotte Hornets side, the only guy that I really like is going to be, it's going to be Nick Batum. And I think maybe off the bench you can look at Jeremy Lamb or Marco Bellinelli as well. On the Orlando side, I like Vucevic. He's probably my favorite center play on the slate. A lot of people are going to go to Drummond, but I do like Vucevic tomorrow. I think Elfrid Payton doesn't play going against one of the worst point guard defenses in the league. Talking about the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers side, Yusuf Nurkic is in play. I do like McCollum a lot. So those are going to be just the guys that I like. I just kind of gave you my rough draft of my player pool. There it is right there. Rewind it, write it down, work with it there. My core four will come from those guys I just mentioned. This has been your DFS Gurus. I'm so glad to be back on the NBA Money Train. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. If you want to become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, there's only one thing you got to do, man. Go to the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. Go ahead and register. From there, upon your paid subscription, you will be ushered into the Facebook VIP. That is where I do all of the work. That's where we get into the midday mix. We break it down. We go over our player pools. We talk about the industry chalk plays. We talk about the injury plays that we get, man. It's just so dope what we do in there on the day-to-day. So get in there. Also, if you don't want to go that far, man, you just want to stay on YouTube, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do. And if you wanted to support the show a little bit further, there's a box over there that says support the show. Go ahead and click that box. Let it take you where it has to take you. And you can go ahead and copy some DFS Sweatshop swag if you like to keep it 300. You can definitely do that. I am your host of DFS Jerusalem. Of course, follow me on Twitter, man. Thank y'all so much for supporting me. I really appreciate everything you've been doing as far as making the DFS Sweatshop the #1 most trusted, valued indie group, indie crew in the DFS world. Thank y'all so much, man. I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful and profitable Thursday. And the number one thing I want y'all to do is keep it 300.